Welcome back. Today, we're diving into a wild question. Which U.S. state is most likely to be the last one standing, and which are on the brink of collapse? We've researched, talked to experts, and crunched the numbers to bring you the ultimate countdown. 10 states facing the biggest risks. We're talking money problems, natural disasters, mass migration, real threats. Some states you expect, but a few will shock you. We'll count down from number 10 to the most fragile state in America. Let's jump in. These are the 10 U.S. states most likely to collapse first. Number 10 is California, the land of extremes, where dreams are made and broken in equal measure. It's home to tech billionaires, movie stars, and the world's most famous entertainment industry, drawing people from every corner of the globe. But beneath the glitz, California also has the highest poverty and homelessness rates in the country, with thousands struggling to find shelter each night. The cost of living is sky high, with housing prices and rents soaring, driving out the middle class in record numbers as families pack up and leave. Wildfires are now an annual disaster, destroying entire neighborhoods, forcing mass evacuations, and choking the air for months on end. Droughts and water shortages are pushing the state's resources to the limit, threatening both cities and farmlands with an uncertain future. California's lush image is built on borrowed water, and now, nature is pushing back hard, leaving farmers and communities desperate for solutions. Political gridlock means solutions are slow to arrive, even as the crises mount and frustration grows among residents. The state is losing its foundation as people flee for more affordable places, and the gap between rich and poor continues to widen dramatically. Environmental disasters, economic stress, and political paralysis are converging, creating a perfect storm of challenges for the Golden State. California's dream is turning into a daily struggle for survival for many, as hope gives way to anxiety and uncertainty. That's why it kicks off our list at number 10, a place of beauty and contradiction, now facing its toughest test yet. The Golden State's shine is fading. The question remains, can it hold on, or will California's golden promise slip away? Number 9 is Texas, the Lone Star State, a place renowned for its fierce independence, sprawling landscapes, and of course, its oil-rich economy. Texas has always prided itself on doing things its own way, setting itself apart from the rest of the country. But that very independence can be a double-edged sword. Texas operates its own power grid, separate from the rest of the nation, and the devastating 2021 winter storm exposed just how vulnerable that system really is. When the cold hit, the grid buckled under pressure, leaving millions in the dark and cold. Millions of Texans lost access to both power and clean water, and experts warn that without major changes, this could easily happen again. On top of that, Texas is no stranger to natural disasters. Hurricanes batter the coast, tornadoes rip through the plains, and droughts parch the land. Floods, too, are a constant threat, making Texas one of the most disaster-prone states in the country. The relentless cycle of extreme weather keeps communities on edge year after year. Meanwhile, the Texit movement calls for Texas to secede from the United States, adds a layer of political instability, distracting leaders and citizens from focusing on real, practical solutions to these ongoing crises. The state's infrastructure is under constant strain, battered by both nature and neglect, and recovery efforts are often slow and underfunded, leaving many communities vulnerable for months. No matter how tough the Texas spirit, bravado alone can't keep the lights on or the floodwaters out. Everyday Texans are left to fend for themselves when disaster strikes. Texas is a wealthy state, but its resources are stretched thin, and the gap between rich and poor becomes even more obvious during times of crisis. It's a perfect storm. Power failures, extreme weather, and deep political divisions all combine to put Texas at number 9 on our list of states facing the biggest challenges. The Lone Star is flickering, its future uncertain as it faces mounting threats from every direction. The question remains, will Texas weather the next big crisis, or will it be pushed to the brink once again? Some fear the state is closer to collapse than anyone wants to admit, as aging infrastructure and political distractions pile up. That's why Texas lands here. At number 9, a state of great promise, but also great peril. Number 8 is Florida, paradise on the edge. Rising sea levels are already flooding Miami on sunny days, and huge parts of the state could be underwater within decades. Hurricanes hit every year, causing billions in damage and making insurance unaffordable. The cycle of destruction and rebuilding is unsustainable. Insurance companies are pulling out, leaving homeowners stranded. Political polarization makes it nearly impossible to address these existential threats. The focus is on short-term wins, not long-term survival. Florida's most valuable real estate is literally sinking. Living here is a gamble against nature and economics. The state's future is at risk and the clock is ticking. That's why Florida is number 8. The Sunshine State is running out of time. Can it stay afloat? Number 7 on our list is Illinois, a state that's become a symbol of financial distress, drowning in debt and uncertainty. For decades, political leaders made big promises, especially about pensions, but failed to fund them properly. This long history of underfunding and mismanagement has created a deep financial crisis that now threatens the state's future. Illinois residents face some of the highest taxes in the nation, and it's pushing both families and businesses to pack up and leave for better opportunities elsewhere. As more people leave, the tax base shrinks, forcing the state to raise taxes even higher just to keep up, fueling a vicious cycle that's hard to break. The result? Population decline is hollowing out once thriving cities and small towns, leaving behind empty homes and shuttered businesses. Meanwhile, Chicago's ongoing struggles with crime and its tough reputation only add to the state's challenges, making it even harder to attract new residents or investment. The pension crisis looms large, a ticking time bomb that threatens retirees and the state's financial stability, with no easy fix in sight. Lawmakers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They can't cut essential services without hurting residents, but they also can't raise enough money to pay all the bills piling up. The slow grind of financial collapse is draining the state's lifeblood, leading to crumbling infrastructure, closed schools, and lost jobs. Even Illinois' rich history and abundant resources can't save it from the consequences of years of mismanagement and neglect. That's why Illinois lands at number 7 on our list of states in financial trouble. The land of Lincoln is running out of options, with tough choices ahead and no easy answers. The big question remains, will Illinois find a way to recover and rebuild, or will it keep sinking deeper into crisis? Number 6 is New York, the Empire State, now facing an exodus. New York City is a global powerhouse, but the cost of living is driving people out. The pandemic proved jobs can move, and so did the residents. As high earners leave, budgets shrink, and services get cut or taxes rise, fueling more departures. Infrastructure is crumbling. The subway, roads, and bridges are ancient and underfunded. Upstate New York faces economic decline and population loss. The divide between a city for the ultra-rich and a struggling upstate is growing. Outmigration, high costs, and decaying infrastructure threaten the state's future. New York's vibrancy depends on people, and they're leaving. That's why it's number 6. The Empire State is losing its crown. Can it turn things around? Number 5 is Louisiana, ground zero for climate disaster. The coastline is disappearing at an alarming rate, erasing natural defenses against hurricanes. Each storm brings more catastrophic flooding, and the next could be even worse. Insurance is becoming unaffordable and companies are leaving. The economy relies on oil, gas, and shipping, all vulnerable to storms. High poverty rates mean many can't evacuate or rebuild. The government lacks resources to address poverty or coastal erosion. Louisiana is literally washing away, and its people are trapped in a cycle of disaster. The state's future is uncertain, and the next big storm could be devastating. That's why Louisiana is number 5. The clock is ticking for the Bayou State. Can it survive the next wave? Number 4 is Michigan, the heart of the Rust Belt. The decline of manufacturing gutted cities like Detroit and Flint, leading to massive population loss. Detroit's bankruptcy and Flint's water crisis exposed deep infrastructure and trust issues. Aging pipes and roads threaten communities statewide. The economy is still tied to the auto industry, now facing a risky transition to electric vehicles. If Michigan can't adapt, another wave of job losses could hit. The state is fighting decades of decline and a fragile economic future. Revitalization is slow and the stakes are high. Michigan's story is one of resilience, but the challenges are mounting. That's why it's number 4. The Rust Belt is at a breaking point. Will Michigan reinvent itself or keep sliding? Number 3 is New Jersey, the Garden State, buried under taxes and debt. It has the highest property taxes in the nation and a mountain of state debt. Residents are leaving in droves, shrinking the tax base and making the problem worse. The state can't cut services or raise taxes without driving more people out. An underfunded pension system is a financial time bomb. The math just doesn't add up, and the spiral is accelerating. New Jersey isn't facing hurricanes or wildfires, but a slow, silent collapse. The financial hole is deep, and solutions are scarce. That's why it's number 3. The Garden State is going broke. Can it dig itself out? Number 2 is Alaska, the last frontier but also the most isolated. Everything is expensive and hard to get, making the state vulnerable to supply chain shocks. The economy depends almost entirely on oil, a resource the world is moving away from. As oil revenues drop, Alaska's budget and services are at risk. Climate change is melting permafrost, destroying infrastructure and forcing communities to relocate. The state is warming twice as fast as the rest of the US. Alaska is beautiful, but it's living on the edge, economically and environmentally. No real plan B exists for when the oil money runs out. That's why Alaska is number 2. The last frontier is on thin ice. How long can it last? Number 1 is Mississippi, the state facing a perfect storm of chronic failure. It has the highest poverty rate, lowest life expectancy, and some of the worst health outcomes in the country. Rural hospitals are closing, creating healthcare deserts. The education system is underfunded, fueling a brain drain as young people leave. Extreme poverty, poor health, and weak education create a cycle that's hard to break. The state lacks the tax base to fix its problems, and solutions are elusive. Mississippi's collapse isn't dramatic, it's slow and systemic, already underway. Generational poverty and underinvestment have left the state fragile. While other states face sudden disasters, Mississippi is eroding from within. That's why it tops our list. The Magnolia State is in crisis. Can it find a way out, or is the collapse already here? That's our list. 10 states facing real, urgent challenges. Which state surprised you most? Do you live in one of these places? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like button if you found this eye-opening, and subscribe for more deep dives. We want to hear your stories and predictions. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Stay tuned for our next video, where we take on the most dangerous city in one of these states.